After weeks of consultations, there are indications that Nigerians' main opposition political party, the People's Democratic Party, may jettison zoning and throw open the contest for its presidential ticket. Though zoning is non-constitutional, some political parties like the PDP have over the years been known to zone its presidential ticket. This, they say, is to ensure equity, fairness and justice towards all regions of the country. The PDP's 37-member committee on zoning, led by Benue State Governor Samuel Otom, says that the party might jettison zoning and throw the presidential ticket open this time around due to exigency of time, as the party usually makes the issue of zoning very clear at least 6 months before the sale of forms. So joining me now via Zoom for more insights on this issue is PDP stalwart Segun Sowunmi, joining me on Zoom. Good morning. It's good to have you join me now.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Great. We're fine. All right. Nice to have you join me this morning. Now, let me ask this. Let me start this way. The issue of zoning seem in the mind of an average Nigerian, it seems really simple. The moment he goes to the north once, he comes to the south, and then he goes to the north again and he comes to the south. But it seems it may not be as easy as that every time. Is the PDP at a crossroads regarding the issue of zoning this time around?
Well, I think that the only party that have ever even tried to be equitable relative to where it places its contest has been the PDP. Our rival and the subset of parties that have made up the APC have always stayed strictly with only one zone. We do that because we believe that there are good Nigerians everywhere in the country. But our zoning situation began to become problematic upon the early demise of President Yar'Adua, that junketed and truncated the time it was supposed to be in the north and brought it back to the south-south, which is the southern hemisphere, by virtue of the Jonathan presidency. Now, when you look at it from that angle, the south, as far as PDP is concerned, have done 8 years of Obasanjo, almost 6 years of Jonathan, and at best, they've had only about 2 years or thereabouts of Yar'Adua. Don't also forget that Yar'Adua was quite ill, so you couldn't really say he was able to do the much that he could. Although the fundamental question you will ask is, am I better served if my man is in the presidency, or am I better served if an effective president is in the presidency? I think everybody can take a guess on that. Right now where we are is that we run a zoning ideology that when we zone to a particular part, it stays there for 8 years because of the principle of right of first refusal for an incumbent. Is the reason why zoning was not discussed even in APC, because President Buhari was eligible for one more term. And if I thought the APC is discussing zoning now, it is just about now. So for PDP, we are very, very concerned on what is the best approach. But that approach also must be pragmatic and must be realistic. We must, as a political party, recognize that we don't sit on a zoning table cross-party and say, oh, APC, PDP, everybody come, let us discuss. That's not how parties work. People allege that was what happened in 1999, but that's not exactly true. Even in 1999, some people contested. Abubakar Arimi, for instance, of Kano contested against Obasanjo. Alex Ekweme of Anambra also contested against Obasanjo. Obasanjo won, maybe the mood of the nation, maybe some back-end trading and all of that, or maybe there was a general groundswell to support it. The first rule is this: anybody who wants to be president must step out and go on consultation and try to build that kind of, rapport with the people that can give him the villa. In this particular case, a lot of northerners have bought the form. The constitution does not allow us to prevent them from participating. A lot of easterners have bought the form. They are entitled to participate. Ironically, IFRC of Southwest too has bought the form. So I think those who have reasoned that we are in such a situation where we just have to throw it over because you can't even be zoning or appropriating what is not yet in your hand. I think they are right. So I believe that any one of them can win. There is no guessing that it will go to one section because of that clause. We could be in for an upset. We could get there on that day of the primaries where, delegates are discussed with and asked to come and exercise that franchise. And we may count the ballot and it could have been anybody. Are you going to discountenance Governor Wike? Are you going to discountenance Peter Obi? Are you going to discountenance Bukola Saraki? Or are you the hell going to discountenance Atiku Abubakar, who is looking like a pole position? If you follow the news, you will notice that he's been doing more of the consultation, meeting all of those groups without rest. Why? Because he understands, like all other politicians, that you cannot wish to be president without reaching out. You need to build a big base. It's a similar thing you're seeing with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You can see the way he's crisscrossing the country, going there, doing things that can make him acceptable to the people. So I think maybe we'll just say that, unfortunately for us in the country, we have gotten to a point where politics and the game of politics has overtaken the need or the ability, not the need, the ability for us to insist that it will be this way and nowhere else.
All right, as it is now, some analysts who are following this development have said that this zoning issue could make or mar the chances of the PDP in 2023. What do you say in that regard?
Well, I'll say that the burden of zoning rests more with the APC. Why? The last president that PDP produced was the Southern President, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The president before then that spent his time was Olusegun Obasanjo. Except for our national issue of how do we resolve the supposed marginalization and all the issues that the Southeast bring to the table, I don't see why anybody will say if the presidency went anywhere in the PDP, it has done anybody any injustice. In terms of the Southeastern agitation on their own do not produce precedent in a democracy. A lot of things go into it. The Southeastern candidate, in my opinion, did not step forward early enough. Now they've stepped out. We are not going to zone to the Southeast and tell Ohanis Ndigbo to go and produce candidate. That's not how it works. If we zone to the Southeast, we're going to expect Southeastern candidates for PDP to step forward. Some of them have done. We're going to see how well they do at the primaries. But you know, the free will of the people to vote, you can't justify or make a legal or compel them. You never know what people will do. I'm running for governor in Ogun State under PDP, as well as some of my other brothers, and you will be shocked. You may get the other day, I may win. You may get the other day, they may win. It will not matter that I've been longer in the party, more consistent, and more reachable to the people. Nobody can go to a delegate election with 100% surety until they count. So that's how these things work. So I don't think any zone in the country can win all by itself. Those who say it will hurt the PDP may be a little bit naive. The numbers are everywhere. The Southeast gives a lot of numbers to the PDP. So does the South. And there's a large voting number also in the North. And Nigeria, in any case, is divided into 6 zones. You have 3 in the North, 3 in the South. You cannot say you don't see equity just because one of the other zones in the North gets it. We must get away from this concept of thinking that there's one homogeneous corridor. It doesn't exist. The North is divided into 3. The South is divided into 3. 2 of the zone in the South, South and Southwest, from PDP's angle, have done it. We're left with 1 zone. 1 finger is sticking. But only 1 zone in the North has done it, the Northwest. So shall you tell me that if a Kwarama becomes president, you have done injustice because they've been before? They've never been. Or if a Benue man, or if a Jos man, or if a maybe an Adama man like in the case of Atiku, or even if a Bauchi man like Bala Mohammed, there are reasons and there is justice. We can show evidence that some areas have never produced president before, but it does not even eliminate Aminu Tambuwa from Sokoto, because sometimes you can say, hey, the Northwest, you have the number. But I tell you again, it's only in the fullness of time that we're going to see precisely what the Nigerians do. And don't always believe the media. Sometimes some of their opinions are limited by the fact that they are speculating from outside the ring. Those who have to take care of the zoning issue, those who have to pick the candidate, is exclusively the responsibility of the party. And they do that via the collegiate of their delegates. And we'll see how it goes.
All right. Before the issue of the final decision on the zoning is coming out from the committee, the 37-member committee, members of the party already started to buy the nomination forms. And this is not just from one section. The north, those from the north, those from the south, from all over the place have bought forms. And some analysts have said that that was open to force the hand of the committee to open up the zoning system to anybody who wants to contest. Would you see it that way?
No. Political parties have to worry about two things. One of it is their own rules, which is via their constitution. The other one is the national rules on contest, which is mostly the purview of INEC to bring out. Once INEC brings out a timetable, there are days that must happen before there's a day. You need a 21-day notice before you do certain things. You need a certain day by the time you must have done certain things. You need a certain number of days by the time you have done certain things. There's a real timetable that responsible, democratic, law-abiding parties try to follow. If the fact that APC is just doing whatever they want does not really matter, we have been long enough in this game to follow the rules. And once you say you can go and buy form, you can't even say only one part can come and buy form. It's usually a gentleman's arrangement, negotiated and all that, because you cannot use your own internal rules to prevent somebody that has already been guaranteed by the Nigerian Constitution the right to participate, to be voted for, to present himself in an election. And you can see that upon opening up the form, everybody has gone there to buy. And it doesn't mean that everybody buying it will be presidential candidate. Only one person can be. And like I explained to you, the place where that will be determined will be via a clean, a transparent, a free, and a fair contest. Should you be president if you cannot get your party men from other zones to support you? No one zone can produce president all by himself. It's impossible. For you to be the presidential candidate of any party, not even the APC, you need to have support from other zones. The reason you see Bola Tinubu all over the place, and a few others of them too are trying. I even heard that one of them was running around the stadium just to show that he's an athletic person. I think the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at any time and even now has always been about a lot of other things except just brawn. Nobody is going to the villa to go and cut stones. No, you are going to design policies, put together a team, run a country that can be united, make us one people because we are quite divided, make us all follow and chase one vision, one future, so that we can just be one country. Our objective in Nigeria now must be to come free now, to understand that democracy is a tyrannical game of majority, but it doesn't mean that the minorities too are excluded. What we need now is someone that will just unite us and get us to settle down and start to undo some of the rot that all Nigerians can clearly see, especially when it comes to how governance has served the people. Things have been really bad. And we are hoping that the democratic process, the forms are not closed. Other people who feel that they have presidential capacity and they have enough reach can also buy it. In any case, political parties too must make money from their sales of form. You can't really blame them.
All right. Now, in July 2021, that was sometime last year, governors of the southern extraction, irrespective of political party, came together, met to say that they want the presidential ticket for 2023 to be zoned to the south. Now, what is the place and position of that right now if we consider the dynamics of how things are as we get closer by the day based on the timetable given by INEC?
In the first instance, I personally consider it as a clever ploy to hoodwink PDP to follow the playbook of APC. Don't forget, all of the years that PDP has gone south, who has the APC, the CPC, the ACN, and AMPP, who have they given their ticket to? They were clever not to know that something called zoning existed then. They stayed north. We who have been staying south and who have a real problem on our hand with our northern supporters are now the ones that will sit down in a meeting of strange people who have different parties, different manifestos, and then they will come and tell us, oh, we sat down as Southern Group. Oh, who gave them that right? The politics is funny in this country. You want to be a governor. I want to be governor now. I'll go crawling on my belly begging delegates. Then 5 minutes after I become governor, I'll begin to imagine that I'm the most superior. I don't believe in that nonsense. The political parties must take back their own power. Yes, governors can lead. They can form their government. They can run their cabinet. but it is the political party that owns the platform by which they decide who they will give their ticket. And right now, I think we have the APC and their friends who put together that joke must have understood that they're just joking. One second part, it would have probably resonated more if they had been brave enough to say, oh, haven't looked at it. We think the power should go to the southeast. Then maybe there would have been an emotional connection with other people in Nigeria. Say, oh, okay, that's true, that's true. But people fear that that game that they were playing and that script was to give an undue advantage to their friends in the southwest. I'm a southwestern man. If they give us the presidency, we'll take it, we'll thank them. But I think it is not right for us now to claim that we need to be the president when we have 6 zones in the country, with 4 of them or 3 of them not having been president. 4 actually.
All right.
No, 3 of them. 3 of them. Northeast, South, East, as North Central. Those 3 have not produced. Are we going to say that, oh, we can't find anybody there? Then if we cannot find anybody in all of those zones that can be president, then we better begin to review the kind of union we are running. For us to be a great country, we must strive to be one people. Different cultures, all right. Our culture is only an interpretation of the values that we are holding, but we can be one human being. We can be one Nigerian. We can have one future we are chasing, and we can be one country. All of that will make things easy for us in Nigeria. And I think that's how I see it.
All right. Now, you have told us that you have the intention to run for governor of Ogun State. Talk to us from that window. What would you do differently from what's going on or what has been going on in Ogun State?
I think that the most important thing is that right now, those who have led or who are leading, especially the present administration, have been quite average. They have not smelled the coffee to understand that there's a need for you to redesign the types of way the people are being led. For instance, up until now, it doesn't make sense to me that we don't have kindergarten education for free, because that levels the gap between the children of the rich and the poor. That will come. I don't also accept that the fact that they don't have state police means that they cannot have a system in their state that allows them to be able to capture their people to a verifiable address and by biometric, so that at least they know who is where and what is what. In case there's crime, they should be able to go back and know Mr. A did it or Mr. B done it, and then either make him a fugitive or arrest him quickly. I don't believe that we can continue with this nonsense of thinking that our health intervention does not touch the people. No. We have to figure out the way, just like we're seeing with other countries, where once you're a citizen or you live or a resident of an environment, you are entitled to some basic facilities that come by the fact that you are there. I think it's time for us to do that. More importantly, I think that Ogun State is now down to dirty. I am truly, extremely embarrassed at the level of debt. I've been living here since 99, going around and coming back home, and I've never seen it this dirty. I've gone to New York. I'm jealous. I went to Enugu. I was even a bit jealous. I've looked everywhere. I look at what's going on in Oyo. Oyo has done light up Oyo to make sure that they can make all their big ways open up, lighten, and everybody can see. What are we doing here? They're just doing average things, okay? Maybe they pay salaries and all that, but governance now is beyond that. We're in the 4th revolution of Indo. We need to fill things up very fast. We need to be sure that we are willing to retain as much of what we have in Ogun State so that we can build our own base. I also intend to be the biggest transfer of cash to people who already have existing small businesses. For you to grow any economy, your eyes must be on the very, very small people who are already doing businesses. You can expand them by just giving them a little capital more to add to theirs, and you can give them a reason to say, okay, if I give you more money, take more people on, train them, make them ready. There are too many things are able to be done here. The concept of PDP that they are running in Ogun for now does not make it easy for people who don't know them to participate in the process. They are quite unresponsive. They make life difficult for people that want to do business. That their interpretation of PPP is the government of themselves for their capitalist friend at the expense of the people of Ogun State. And I have lived here longer, I've been here longer, I've listened to them longer, I've discussed with them longer, I've empathized with the state longer, I've conversed on pushing others to even try when they get power longer. I think I'm the leader that I'm looking for. And by the grace of God, if the good people of Ogun State give me their mandate, then they will see that indeed more can happen and a brand new deal is here.
All right. Good to hear that. But let's get back to our discussion talking about zoning. Now, would you say that the outcome of what APC does regarding how they zone and the outcome of the decisions they take regarding zoning or rotation would impact the way that PDP would also toe the line or decide otherwise?
The PDP, in my opinion, has always been the training ground for all parties because they've just been consistent. So the fact that the APC is even using the term zoning and they don't know what they want to do, they are learning from whatever PDP has. It is an anathema to think that the university don is coming to learn from the primary school teacher. What I expect to happen is that the APC can either follow their conscience during their 8 years, give it to somebody from the south, or do whatever they want. But as for PDP, we have made up our mind. We're going to go to the process, and the best man will win. And whoever wins, we're all going to rally behind him, and we're going to push. The reason why I'm talking like this is that we must detribalize leadership in this country. This fixation on, if it goes north, maybe the south will not vote, is not true. All of the last elections you've seen in the southern part of Nigeria, we have always voted. Some parties have won, some have lost, but it's been a very healthy and good competition and good display of democracy. Maybe our others are still needing to learn, but this time around, PDP is going to give its ticket to whoever the delegate gives it to. And I keep insisting, let nobody say with certainty that they know what the delegates will do. Let us write that down.
All right. Would you envisage a situation or a scenario where if the zoning is eventually opened up to everyone and say someone from the north picks the ticket for presidency, would you envisage a scenario where there'll be mass defection due to dissatisfaction from those in the south?
Who will be defecting? Who are the people that will be defecting? Anybody who will listen, this is part of the funny thing about the Nigerian political conversation space. When we give a man the ticket and God makes him win, there's one sense that, he's representing a tribe. But that's not true. What we see them is that they're there, they're running government as they know, they're probably representing their family themselves. And I've not seen, tell me, what special thing have the northern part of Nigeria benefited from a Buhari presidency that the Southwest has been deprived of? I really can't see it. Everybody, the presidency does not run, it can't even run that way. We already have the institution of federal character. We already have the institution that almost every state has to produce a minister or a minister of state. We already have so many things that make it impossible for one part to take power and just start running anyhow. It is elevated and people are scared now because of the level of nepotism that the APC presidents of General Buhari started with. Even that is no longer clear-cut anymore. They've adjusted themselves, especially in the second time. The rhetorics to have changed. They were the one who used their rhetorics to, dismember and ruffle the unity of the country. And, the higher end of it was everybody trying to be militia for their tribe. But luckily, and I must give him some credit for that, smartly, that has been brought down a little bit. The underpinnings are still there, but we need to, more than anything else, we need a president that will restructure the country so that sections of the country can go do what they need to do within the ambit of the law. We are at a point where we even look at the governors, your friends, who are asking for zoning as a law, or even almost as a creed from God. Ask them how much of that zoning equity have they done in their space. There is a very popular Yoruba axiom that says you start to sweep the floor of a dirty room from where you are standing. You have not done zoning where you can. You are asking them to go and do zoning where you don't even have the power to enforce zoning. So I don't expect anybody to leave. Those who will be leaving will probably be leaving because they think they can get their ticket elsewhere. I wish them luck. Those who will be leaving again could leave because they're saying they're tired. I wish them luck. But I think there are about 200 million Nigerians. So many of them will not be really jumping ship like that. Let no individual overrate himself. People are still going to take that decision. And in the final analysis, we must just be praying and wishing that Nigeria gets a good president. Take the case of even the APC. Although I've seen a lot of Southerners indicate interest, are you going to pretend that you don't know that Yahya Bello of North Central has also indicated interest? So that's how this politics is played.
All right. All right. Okay, we have to leave it here now. Thank you so much, Segun Showomi, for this talking to us on TVC Breakfast this morning. Totally
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Great.